Good morning, happy people. How are you guys doing today? My name is Jay Song. Everything in today's video is never financial investment or trading advice of any kind. Everything's just for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I eat red crayons for breakfast. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose. And especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. Special thank you yesterday to everybody who came and enjoyed our launch event for ANKR. A special letter I wrote on our JSON Crypto and Crayons community post. I said, hello everybody, it was a great filming for our launch event for our new product ANKR workshop tutorial event. This event will be uploaded and the PowerPoint will be put into PDF resource for everyone in their course. We did a lot of feedback from some of the participants who did have some issues accessing the event at the beginning. It appears the bulk of the participants said that the solution was to simply log in, create a username and password, and then click Start Course. The Zoom link was on the very first page of the course outline, and then people saw it, and they were seemingly that's basically what they needed to do. This is important to create a portal, as a future updates for the course that you purchase will be there inside. The subsequent modules are going to be in that portal. If you haven't created a portal, make sure you create a portal. When you purchase the link and you log into the green lamp email, it's going to ask you to create the username and password. You got to do that and then click Start Course. That's basically what you need to do. If you do not see the portal, make sure you can email me. Melody will help you get through that, as I have the ability to send an alternate link to a portal if you needed to, but you still need to create your login to access it. So you still need to get that login, whether you paid by the PayPal link or the alternate private link I sent you. That one doesn't have a standard checkout with that redirects to PayPal first. It just has the checkout. Okay, please check your spam or junk mail folder if you did not see further instructions about logging into the green lamp after purchasing. The next updates you will see in the course will be about parabolics and ANKR. Thank you, and God bless you for all who attending. See you soon. And that's my little letter I posted yesterday. And so under how that would work was when you would go to your products, right here, it's going to be the ANKR tutorial workshop event. It will look something like this. We had plenty of people showed up. We had 38 members, looks like, total between the alternate links and the main link. So the main link, it's going to give you something like this, and I'll show you the preview and how it looks on your side. Real quick, you're going to see this button. It's going to say Start Course right here at the top. Okay, and you're going to need to make sure you click Start Course. And it's going to take you, and you're going to see all the modules. See, there's the Zoom link right there. So click that, and you're going to see the course contents. Now, right now, these are not populated. So if you bought the course, you're like, oh, geez, number one, you already missed the link to this event. So this is no longer valid. I just said no longer valid. But to minimize confusion for people who said, I didn't get in. And then when they get in, they're like, oh, there it is. That's to just remind people, because subsequent events that may be additional things that were offered for this, such as the ANKR DP that will be launched in the future. It's part of the course. It's the part of the early bird for the course. The price of the course is going to go up after ANKR DP comes up. The price is going to increase. Okay, I'm just letting you guys know when that comes out, when that product comes out. But the event will be chopped up into smaller pieces today and this week. Melody's already working on that one, so you guys are going to see that all placed in here. Lesson 1A, Lesson 1B, Lesson 2, Lesson B2. And so all of them are going to be placed in these different places, and you can quick reference them as part of your course. And then you're going to see attachments that will also be a part that'll be available in the course as well. Here's another look at the same course workshop. And the other thing you're going to do is, if you see it like this, and you say, Jason, I don't see anything, just click on this button, Course Content, and just click. There's a little arrow there. Click it, and it's going to populate all the stuff. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this product. It was fantastic. I put a lot of work into the PDFs and things like that, so you're going to see it all uploaded for you guys this week. All right, that's our announcement about our ANKR. The next announcement that I have for you guys is our new product, which we're going to be launching. You can already sign up for this, but we are going to create a separate link on Patreon for this. And it's going to be just like an alternate link where you can pay on Patreon. And then if you paid on Patreon, we will see you, and we're going to be emailing you the course details. And it's going to look like this. So it's a new product called the ANKR, or it's called the ANKR. And I'm going to show you real quick what that product is. This is the ANKR, and the link right here on PayPal has a 15-day free trial. and you guys can sign up right here on the website. We will post one on Patreon, and then those who sign up for that tier membership will be able to access it the same way as Dive. There'll be a post, that'll be linked to the schedule. The first meeting is going to be 4 p.m. this week, and it's going to have a recorded session where we're going to take 7 to 8 maps only, and we're going to build these maps in full depth. They will not cover the tutorial. That is the course workshop that you purchase when you purchase the product. This is for those and only those who purchase the class. So if you want the class and you haven't taken the tutorial, you're going to feel lost. You can. I'm not going to stop anyone from signing up for the subscription if they want this product. It is $13 a monthly subscription. We are going to create an alternate link this week, so look for that on around Monday or even later tonight. You're going to see this new product, and it's going to be looking the same. Both are going to have a link to that course, so you are going to get a private email you want that is sent to you, and you will get those accesses on Patreon. For Patreon, we have more immediate access to the funds. PayPal, we're still under account restriction as we are submitting all the stuff on the business license and taking care of that. So if you guys want to just sign up right now, just wait till Monday, and then Monday the launch will go, and I'll post a link when that is launched. But that's for everybody who is interested in class, and those are people who want an additional learning opportunity. And I read this letter to you guys here, and I will be posting the same letter in Patreon, so look for that announcement. That's just a bonus for people who just want only in-cut content and me to spend time with them in the in-cut for the in-cuts. Okay, so those are the two things we have going on this week, and you will see that. Okay, we ready to do ChartRoom? Okay. Pull up some charts. So the first crypto we have a request for is a new crypto called FAI. Phrase. Okay, I got it. All right, looks like we have a map on this one already. Okay, we're left with something like this. Well, been building flat for quite a bit. Let's take a look at the volume on MEX. Wow, look at that. Professional accumulation. Wow, look at that. Wow, look at that professional accumulation. This is the kind of stuff I talk about. We just need a health or two. We're going to look for the first health. You can see, number one, what the volume is doing even on this one-day chart. And what is the volume doing? You can see it's steadily rising. Okay, look at the volume steadily rising as price is falling in the same area. Do you guys see that? Does that make sense? What is happening? Okay, professional accumulation happens on the down bar, at the down move, the downtrend. You're going to see it look like this, where volume is rising as price is falling. That means professionals are entering this crypto. And that's awesome. I wish I saw this one. It looks like we haven't looked at it since October of 2025, before the down market crash. This is what you're looking for, my friends. This is the kind of stuff. Now, I'm not saying buy this right now. It might be too late. Price already moved quite a bit already. But this is the kind of stuff you're looking for. Let's see how far price has already moved. I'm just really curious. Measure. Price has already moved something like 500%. So this already moved quite a bit. Fantastic. We are going to need to draw some new lines. It's been a long time since we spotted a lot of that weakness up in here. You can see high volume on the up move, but the up move was already back into weakness way back when in August. That was telling us everything we needed to know. This crypto was very weak at the time. How weak? Last week. That's how weak it was. Okay. There was no professional interest at that time that I can see. Now we can see it. Okay. So you're looking for these cryptos to be falling and the volume to rise. A lot of you guys are looking at cryptos that have none of this. You're looking in the wrong areas and you're expecting it to go to the moon without these kinds of accumulation. If it doesn't have this type of accumulation and it's been in a downtrend for a while, the higher the odds that price is going to get slammed down, and it's not going to have what it takes to sustain. So if we're going to do if price is going to do something good, you need to be able to have that accumulation into a health. So let's talk about the healths that are in here. And I'll start with the more local health, even though this is not the right order. I'm going to start with the local health first. So the local health is going to be the more recent health, and it's going to be based on the last foundational move that we can really draw. And we can see our foundational line is here. Okay, so this is going to be one of our last recent adjustment lines as we start coming down. There's one or two more, but you can see how many times we've hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we break out and sit on top of that area. Can you see what's happening, my friends? Okay. Can you see this? Does that make sense? Okay. This is what you're looking for. This is the kind of stuff that's going to help you understand when things are changing and when they're not. So I don't care about this crypto frail. This is the kind of structures that's going to teach you and train your eyes on what you should be looking for, so that when it's happening, you're sitting much more in a better position to position yourself for the battle. When we got the close above here, and not just sitting here, that was a good thing for this. It lets us know we're looking to continue higher. Okay. All right. Now let's draw a little bit more. Yeah. Right about here is where our resistance should be. So I'm just going to mark it in case we need an extra support and come down really hard. Something like silver back to a support. Yeah. It's going to be somewhere right about in this area. There's an end cut right here. Okay, I'm going to be looking for this to be a bit of a support. All right, so this is going to be one of the major things that is associated with this line. Another angle that we have, a separate angle, we're going to be looking here, and we're going to be needing a different color. And I'm going to show you something about these oscillation. And we can see that this oscillation is also of vital importance. One of the ways we know that this is of strong importance is because we hit this bottom several times. 1, 2, 3 times it looks like along that track. So I'm going to be looking there. And one of the things I'm just going to do that we don't really get a chance to do a lot, not because we don't get a chance, I should say, but rather there's not many opportunities for them. And this is thundercut. There's a thundercut where these two meet. So we're going to find where they grew, and we're going to block it out. We want to block out that area. And we do thundercuts simply. Our notation is by yellow with a black border. And then we bring up the opacity. And then I'm just going to type in T undercut and give you that number at 0.045, 0.038. So if this continues going in the sky, what I would be actually looking at is this to possibly hit somewhere even here in the sky for us. And that's pretty high. And it's great to know where that's at. This is a culmination of where these are meeting. So that block is somewhere about right here. Okay. It's going to be something important. Support, resistance. Support, resistance. All right, that was our last resistance here. And after that, I have no more. Okay, so we're going to do a new oscillation. One of the things we're going to remember is our foundational area here. I got a foundational area, which is going to be something like here. We're going to stretch it out by maintaining the curvature. We're going to try to collect as many of those pieces as possible. And the curvature we're collecting is going to be based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to keep that curvature. And you're going to notice that this curvature is eventually going to level out. It's going to level out based on my calculations about right here. So I'm going to draw a flat about right in that block area. This one we remove our yellow border. And this is going to be called a leveled parabolic at 0.018 to 0.017. So this might be a nice, great stop for this crypto. As if it continues to rise, we might be looking at that resistance as a big portion of where it's going to level out. And that's going to be something we're going to use. Another thing we're going to do now is we're going to make sure we go to the top views. I'm going to go all the way to a 2-week chart. I only got a few candles here, so let's go to maybe a week. All right. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the structures, the round structures here and the round structures here, and we're going to connect them together. Okay, let's give this a color. We're going to color this white. And I'll just stretch this a little back. And I'm going to bring this to the top. All right. Okay, now given to the top, you can see that we're going to collect the core here and the round structure here. It's right exactly where it should be. So you can see the round structure is just hitting that number. Almost exactly. Almost exactly. I think the angle maybe needs to be raised just a hair on the key, and then the phantom side, we will place that there, and now we got an exact match. All right, so we're gonna place, now that we got we're probably gonna get the close in the next 1 day and 10 hours. That means we're gonna close above this line. We're gonna make sure that we put the sword cut right where it goes, which is right about here, where the break. So that's gonna be our sword cut, and this will be another place you want to add for your map as C, add 0.0044, 0.0040. Okay, so 4440 gonna be place you're looking for. If prices come back down, you're gonna be looking in that general direction. Okay, I think I only got just a little bit more for you. And okay, 0.041039 in area of interest for me up in the sky. I'm gonna it's somewhere around where the thunder cut is. That's going to be an end cut I'm looking at right now in the sky. I won't draw all the end cuts I see, but this is going to be something. And then right now, price is currently at a end cut block that's somewhat very important. 07.0067. Okay. And so this should be a resistance area for us right now. And what I'm going to be looking at is a break above here. You want closes above there to let you know you're probably going to be good to go for the rest of the distance. But these are going to be the big ones for me for this crypto. So I wouldn't buy it right now. We're at a strong resistance. I need to get some closes above here. I don't want to just spike here. I want to get some closes above there, probably if we can close during the week. Otherwise, I might be coming back down and then try to launch. And then additionally to that, if I can build above there, I'm going to try to make it towards the final leg of the run. If I can't, remember, you guys are going to be looking to probably reject here. And then also this is a current weakness as well area, if we can't. So that's where you would be looking to go down. So this is somewhat how the game might play out for us right now. Okay, overall, I think it's still in a good spot with that large accumulation. You're probably going to have what it takes to make it to here, but it may be a little bit longer than you want. You may get some fight right here at this area. Okay, does anybody have any questions, thoughts regarding this? iPad's drawing a flat. Yeah, this is good to draw that flat. Thank you, iPad. Yeah, you got a flat there, definitely. 0132.0131. Good job, iPad. That's going to be a flat. Lily says, can we do targeting system? Can we do target on system on this? Yes, no. Can we do targeting system? Yes. Yes, says InvestBank. Yes, says Bridget. Yep. Okay. We can, because we've been here before. So what am I looking for? I'm going to be looking for targeting system to overlap any of the known lines we're looking at. So we got a lot of reasons on why we're looking at some of the areas, but we want to now see target system overlap some of these important ones to let us know which ones really are going to be our main focus. All right, so let's do it. Glad you guys are thinking. Okay. Let's start with the highest and go to the lowest. If we can, we'll chunk it into smaller pieces. And there we go. So we got two areas here that'll be of interest to us. First of all, we'd be looking here to be our dip on either side, but we barely got anything. So we're going to need to zoom in a little bit more and see what we actually got. So here we got a dip right here on this side. And this is going to be for our standard target. And then our other target would be that little one way up there in the sky. So that might be of note. Next, we got the delta target, which is going to be the highest area in this cluster. And we're going to break that down just using that color, the blue. So there's our delta. So our dip right here, our delta in blue, which is the highest peak in this area, apart from this as the flat. Okay. And then a swing target is the target that's going to be between these two areas. And right now, the halfway point between those areas is going to be on the high side right here. So if we wanted to add a swing, it's going to be in the high side between the highest peak in between, and it's just going to be about halfway right here. So that's how I do swing target. But those will may be some of the more viable areas for us. Let's see which of them, if any, overlap. Okay, so we got the standard target system, and we're right there, right at the target. And that's not so helpful for price. It's helpful for us to understand where that resistance is, but it also reminds us we need to clear this area, so that's good. The swing target is going to be right where we're at right now, so that's going to be interesting, quite interesting. We need to clear this area, so that's going to be good. And then finally, the delta target is where? Right at the flat and just underneath the parabolic. If I were to now try to pinpoint which is probably going to be more viable for us, what I would be thinking to myself, is where these prices are going to most overlap. So right now, we can see that the target, the swing target, and the end cut is probably on the high side. So somewhere around the high side of this target, which is going to be the 87, it's going to be where the bulk of that resistance is. Maybe that's where we're at, close to right now. I need to clear that area. So having this right about here is perfect. It's basically where we need to be to try to clear this. Next one, of the flat and the parabolic, I'm going to be looking at the low side of the parabolic, the high, and probably the low side of the flat, or we can just break this into two different parts if we wanted to. So we can draw something that looks like that. Okay, so you can draw something like that if you were wanting to. Pay attention to these numbers, therefore, 0, 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 0, 1, 3, 8. And then you can take a screenshot, zoom in on those numbers. That's basically it right now. I need to put in some commentary to remind everybody right now that we have a very large accumulation and it's still steady. So it's really good, very good, interesting. Now you can see here we had some still high volume on the up bars, but we're still not in health. So they're not ready for it to come just up yet. But as we come down, I think they created the selling rally or just said, hey, let's just get it cheaper. So they dump some and they buy it back. Steadily, the algorithm is just accumulating all in the down move. Then the spreads get very small. Volume spread analysis, the spreads are very small. Look how tiny the spreads are. Each candle is very small. It's not spreading very far. And oh, we just came out of nowhere. No, it wasn't out of nowhere. There was a large professional accumulation on this crypto, and that's what you guys are going to train your eyes to see. All right, here we go. So let's write this down. March 7th, 2026. FAI. This crypto had weakness in October, as previously discussed last year. But one thing I missed was re-examining this crypto last year in 2025. Re-examining this crypto in 2026. This crypto has large accumulation on this exchange. We can see clearly the price falling and the volume rising steadily. Price falling and the volume rising steadily. This is a classic sign that professional interest is involved. The first health can be seen on the daily chart above the sky blue line. Price hit its major targets already and moved over 570%. Currently, price is at this resistance area. The next health is above 0.0087 area with resistances at 0.0123 and 0.017 area. All right. Any other questions for me this crypto? Okay. Let's go a little bit further. So it looks like this is a new crypto, ZKP, and let's take a look at what's going on. What's going on, right? This is a look on Binance, and it looks like that's the launch day. I always look for that up candle. That always happens on a launch coin, almost always. Let's look at another ZKP on another exchange real quick. So that was on Binance. I'll look on Bybit. Okay, and it looks basically the same, and the volume's still about the same. We got that one spike, and then so we'll go back to Binance, and then we're just gonna draw. Okay, so I have limited data for this coin. It's fairly new, but I'll draw two things that I see. First one I'm gonna draw is gonna be there, which is displays a local health. And then the next thing I'm gonna draw is the parabolic that might be, actually I'm gonna draw the wick match first as well. Since I got these wicks that may line up, and I'm just gonna give it a dot and just watch out for that. Okay, both of those. Just paying attention, just in case it is the wick that is going to be established as a strong core right here. We'll know if we get a strong core rejection and build above there, then I'll be looking higher. I'm not sure which one of these I'm going to be looking out for, so we'll watch both sides, the parabolic side and the wick side here. Okay, today is not a tutorial day. Generally, we reserve those for Wednesday, so if you're a new member of our community, you may want to be looking out for that. Ooh, good. Both of these will be important. All right. This end cut right here is it's still in beta, but I want you to pay attention to this number right here. 0.01, the 0.0165, 0.160. Okay, this is a DP slash a wick match. So this is an overlapping line that's here in the sky. So if this crypto does go up, pay attention to that number. 16 cents. Current price is 0.19. So when that happens, I want you to look after this number right here, 0.135, 132. NDP is active for this crypto. Even though it's in beta, I'm just letting you guys know. Let's do our target system. Okay, our delta is going to be something we might be looking at here. 0.119, 0.1127, 1198. Everything else is going to be redundant. Okay, and then now let me give you some final structures. Okay, one of the last things that happen, if this is a strong health, that price is breaking out into right here, if that's really what all of this is, which it's very likely. This is a type of breakout, although the data is very little. One of the things I'm going to be looking at is event line. Event line is the last event that takes place before we go out, and it's going to be approximately here. And so what we'd want to do is duplicate that event line to the top side somewhere here. Now I am going to look on a higher time frame to confirm this, but it's very likely both of these oscillations are going to be playing out. Okay, this would be based on the daily chart, so I can write EV.1 day, and then I'll put EV. Okay, if price is building below these areas right now, that's probably going to be still weak, and then we're going to pay attention to the flat as well. The reason why I want to pay attention to the flat is the overall essence flat somewhere is going to be here. This is going to be about the flat we're looking for. It's going to minimize some of that noise. We got a wick, some cores somewhere in this range, and then some wicks down here, which means we're going to lower that just a hair, and that's basically what we're looking for. This is going to be your multi-touch flat. Okay, MT 0, and I'm going to give you the low side, 0.763. And so that's what I'm going to be looking for. Prices getting below here is probably going to be where we're starting to see the down movement of this stock. Let's look at the volume. I don't have much in the volume, but I will show that screenshot as well, so you guys can see. We have some really strong volume here. It's on a down bar, but that down bar is into weakness, and then later on those become resistances in that same area where we would have that original high, very strong volume. So it's some really strong volume, but again, nothing to show for it, and then they jumping ship. I think what's happening is this was them dumping. This activity was not accumulation here. It's not into health. It's down into weakness. So therefore, this volume is going to be viewed as a negative thing. They're just selling. Okay. It could have been the initial launch holders, groupings of them, a lot of them. And now the crypto needs to find some new footing, what it's going to be doing. As we zoom in a little bit more, we got the high volume on the up bar, but right into that previous resistance area and come down with nothing to show for it. I don't see a large accumulation. I see high volume here, but the volume is into this health. So we can see we pushed up, and then the next bar was sitting in the promised land. So this might have been a little bit of a bullish push into a healthy area, and that's a good thing. But I'm not going to be super optimistic this crypto just yet. For me, I'm going to look for the confirmation. It's probably going to be the breakout past this area. The maximum vortex is somewhere around March 24th, so we're going to be looking somewhere above this trajectory, get us into this area, and then we can start talking about going up to hit those targets. And that's when I would be bullish of this crypto. Otherwise, you're going to be looking to come back down. If weaknesses ensue, you're going to be looking to come down further, and probably watching out for this bottom, and then you're going to need to adjust the top, and it will be two different deviated angles, which is a good reason to already change this color. We'll just give this a different color right now. Okay, any other questions? My thoughts about this map real quick. Okay, limited data, but that's about what I see. Okay, let's go to Manero. Let's start with the monthly chart. Calm all the noise. Simplify your chart. And is this bearish? Is this bullish? Is this bearish? What's happening to this crypto? I wrote this in January of 2016. Manero continues to move in health again. Most recently with the phantom above 526, with strong pushing in the back and pullback on lack of interest. This is a bullish if the next local health occurs. Supports are near 582 with a safety net around 455 dynamic positive, and the flat is 455 as well. This is a vortex. The larger DP is at 1,620, so it's somewhere up in the sky up here. Okay, that's what I wrote. The price has already moved over 200% since the initial health, December 2nd, 2024. And that's going to be back here, right about here. Okay, so right when that initial health came in, we started building in the positive area with a bullish push. That's when we already moved very high since at 200%. In today's video, we discussed many areas of entry in the past and accumulation. I believe this crypto will continue to do well in the future. Current price is 627. Now, that was as of January 17th. Current price today is 350. And if you guys want to see more of that price video, it's going to be in January 17th. But what is happening right now to this crypto is we really negative. Let's take a look. Did we break the foundational area yet? Yes or no? Foundational area. Okay, here it is. The foundational key angle. Yes, no, maybe. No, yep, nope, says Pipa. No. And the answer is no. We have not broken this. We can even label it foundational key angle. I haven't broken it. Okay, here's the event line. And the phantom line. Sorry. Here's going to be our phantom key angle. And we're going to put that on top. And we're still there, right? So we still haven't really broken above this. We need to, we try to, we want to. We need to get above here if we're going to go. We spiked above here, but we didn't get any strong closes above here. In fact, there's resistance somewhere here at the old flat. And you can see us barely creeping above that. And that's actually a good thing. Price getting that close above 450, 455 was actually important. Here on the monthly chart, you can see we tried to really reject back down, but we got the health. It's there. But this is where we're going to see some of that multi-touch flat start to play off. Now, in the past, we had some rejection in that same area here in May of 2025. And now, again, it's the same area. So this is going to be a little bit of an important battle for us for this to happen. Is the weakness in? No, the weakness is not in. We don't have the weakness in play. Let's borrow this weakness here. We're going to clone that out. and I will show you guys where that weakness. The weakness again is underneath the foundational key angle. So when that happens, another thing we have is a support based on a parabolic. It looks like there's a parabolic here. We're going to need to look at that on a smaller time frame. It looks like it's going to level out right about where these supports are happening. So that's a good thing. Overall, there's going to be some fight. Now let's take a look at volume just in the terms of two things. Number one, here and here. And I'm going to show you what I'm looking for in the volume before I look at this. The question is, how low will Manero go? One of the things we're looking for in Manero is along that track. So let's just bring this up to this month, since we got another 24 days left in this month. And the support right now is 289. So if I were a betting man, I'm going to say 289 is a little bit low. But in previous dates and bouts, you can see that we wick to these areas. Now notice something about these wicks. Does anybody notice anything unusual about these wicks? Somebody tell me what you notice about these wicks. What can we glean about these? They are long. Okay, sure, they're long. Similar angle. That's right, Tipa. They're similar angle. If you look carefully, and I duplicate the key angle, and I bring that key angle, I can actually line up many of them about here. How should I notate that? One of the ways we want to notate it is we're going to make the line a little bit thicker, and what we can do is we can make one dashed or dotted. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I like to use dash quite a bit. And now I have a little bit of a range. And what this is going to give me is a little bit of wiggle room, so that if price goes sour against me, I'll know when things are still in my favor. And so right now, those numbers are 269 to 289. So price can hit us 269, be like, I'm getting out. And if I get out, I'm like, why did price bounce and go up? Because I need to be thinking in terms of ranges and blocks rather than just flat numbers. Remember, we never trade based on just flat numbers unless the angle is a flat itself. Okay, and even then you can combine those with time cycles. But we never want to just look at only price as just being flat. Many times, if you have other reasons, that can be the case. So what we can actually do is bring the health down, the weakness a little bit lower to those areas, and that's going to give us a better view. We're concerned about the angle. Give me the angle, I can calculate the price any day. That number is going to change. It's a dynamic positive every month. Okay, I don't care about the number. That's going to change. I care about the price. All right. Alrighty. Sorry, let me take my picture. Okay, now let's go a little bit further. iPad, were you trying to show me something? I saw you draw on my screen. What are you drawing? Okay. Yeah, you can draw those if you wanted to. If you wanted to create a further in-depth map, you're probably going to be... Were you in my NCUT class yesterday? I think you were. I couldn't remember everybody's in here. Yes, okay. Yeah, you can draw NCUTs along the way. If you need those weaknesses, they're going to help you out there. Okay. All right. What I'm seeing is a response, a positive response. And this is exactly where we should see support, right here. We have support right here. That's going to be good. And we should, and what is also happening here is there's a bit of a battle of resistance. And this is exactly where we should actually see NCUT resistance at. So we got some resistance right here, and you can verify that yourself on your own map, okay? But yeah, I'm looking at some resistances in this area. Now the next thing I'm going to do, is we can actually bring up the health a hair somewhere here to that area, and you can look for that. Let's put this number here, and I already have a number on here. What is this one? Okay, 425 average. Okay, but the NCUT's slightly higher. 463 to 453. Nope. 473. 456 area. Okay, so I'd be looking at 456 area as going to be the next big breakout for us. For this crypto, you need to get it. Otherwise, price is responding to its own area. I'm going to be looking to actually be trapped in here for a bit. And right now, it's going to be my next analysis for this. Based on this one, when the trend starts slowing down and we start responding to weaknesses and resistances, fairly well instead of building upon them like supports like we did here in this instance. You can see that price was building upon an end cut and we going up. Right now we're rejecting on an uncut within its oscillation. That means things are slowing down. So what I'd actually be looking for is the battle to play and resume in here is basically what I'm going to be looking at right now. I'm not going to be looking for things to be a little bit fantastic for Manero. It needs to slow down. Remember, Monero is also a fish that's swimming against the market. The market's been down and Monero's been trying to go up. There's only so much you can do to keep that before the sentiment changes, okay? And the battle is going to resume. But if the market were bullish, Monero would probably be doing very well. And this is going to be the way you're going to look for that next. So these are going to be the two that you can create on there. And then if you want more on this, you can create end cuts, see the end cut course, and you're going to be able to draw lines along the track. For now, let's draw a target system. That's going to be based on this bottom. This bottom, I'm going to try to do all of them, and then I'll shrink it if we need to. All right, this one's going to have what we need. Good. So I'm going to give you the two that will probably be here. It's going to serve you well. If things go really sour for this, we're going to be looking at this area. That's going to be for our target, one of our active targets, and it looks like we already hit there. Since I measured only from to this peak, this next cut we hit there almost exactly. Okay. And then the last one would have been here, and we're well below that right now. So that's actually a negative thing. Okay, negative, we're pressing up against it. Now we still have 24 days left in the month, but pressing against there is not the best. The delta is right where price is at, so I'm not going to put a little bit of weight on that delta right now, but that one and that one I am. And then the swing target is going to be somewhere on the low side here. I will show you how that works. There's our top, there's our bottom. 50% from these is going to be approximately here on the low side. So it's going to be on the low side here. So we'll draw that for you now. Make sure I'm doing that right. Yeah, right here. All right. All right. So that's how that one's going to be. And I'll write now this in my new comments. Okay. Manero / XMR. This crypto, why did I put the date? March 7th. This crypto currently found support at a target area. And what was the range of that target? I didn't even put the target under. 273. 241 at 273, and it's currently playing underneath a target above, and I needed to put the target for this one, didn't I? The number 391 to 357. Above 357. My current thoughts are to remember that this crypto has been bullish when the market was bearish. And this makes for a difficult journey. It is like the fish swimming against the stream. They can only keep it up so long. What happens as soon as the salmon gets to the top? They lay their eggs and they die. It's exactly what happens. They're done. There's no more energy. They just die. And they give it their all. Okay, I risk it for the biscuit. Okay, and that's what happens. We want to learn the lessons from the fish swimming against the stream. Okay, there is only so long they can keep it up, but Manero has a strong uptrend in the fight in it. My concern is that price now rejected against its end cut at 473, area, this is actually bearish because previously we were building on its in cuts within the oscillation. But now it's rejecting them. Note, this is a monthly chart. My suspicion, therefore, my strong suspicion, is that Manero is slowing down and may fight until support at, and I need to pull this support again. What was that support? 265. It may need to fight until support at 265 and play in the uptrend area. The weakness is not, the main weakness has not appeared, but these two smaller weaknesses indicate that price is not ready just yet for the up move. Let's look at the volume now. Okay, I want to see high volume on the down bars and slowing down. Okay, I'm having high volume on the up bars, but look at the up bars now. Closing here may indicate we are not ready just yet. We want to have one more bout of accumulation, or we want to have a strong move, down move on lack of interest. Okay, that means we're coming down and they're just not interested in the down move. Here, the down move was actually increased in volume. Now might be some times of slowing down. Now, if we got that close on the, that would be a good thing. We really need the next probably close above this oscillation to show we're accelerating. Otherwise, we're going to have to try to battle that out in this area. But this is going to be my major quadrant, and I'm going to draw this with the triangle so you guys can see that my current view is, because we're slowing down, I don't think we're going to be able to clear this. We need to clear this area, and I'm going to make it really big so you can see it in yellow. Okay, we need to clear those numbers, and I'll write them on the board. I don't got the volume right now for a second bout of accumulation, but if I'm above here, that's when I'm going to be interested in Manero. Again, I don't care about this lower price right now. I don't want to phase into weakness. I don't want to phase right through this weakness. That could be an option for us, and it could be a very bad option for us. So I want to get above there and then take action. This is all this is telling me right now, is this is not good. Okay, I need to clear out of this zone. This is exactly where I don't want to be right now. Okay, that strong rejection is not just a rejection, it's where it should, so it should slow us down. We need to get out of that, or we need to have some down moves on high volume back into healths. Okay, bounce me up here, but don't phase me through here and then bounce on that later on. Okay, because then I need another structure. Okay, I would need some accumulation, but that's how I'm going to feel about this. And that's about all I'm going to say, all the time I will devote to it. Apart from this, I have highlighted the danger area. Price needed to close above the 472, I'll just say 473 area to really continue the uptrend. But price only spiked in that area. Price only spiked, and therefore there may be some strong signs of slowing down. I want to see next down bars with strong volume, but with moves back into health, local healths, because there's nothing really on the monthly chart. But more than that, I want the close above 472. Then I will be looking for the up move to resume. Check the monthly chart. All right, and I'll give you that upper price. So the upper price might be somewhere closer to $600 and $670 or $700, somewhere around there. Okay, but that's going to be my final thoughts regarding this one. Okay, questions going once? Questions going twice. No, not yet. No, not yet. I see it slowing down. Yeah, I definitely see. Oops, not that one. I definitely see us playing in this quadrant for right now. And we got about 2 or 3 months, maybe even 4. 1, 2. What's the next one? 1, 2, 3. About 3 months. Right now, the lowest prices I see are all this grouping and cluster here. So I'd actually be focusing probably on that number. That's the one right there, 270, 241, probably there at the very low. Okay. And there's an overlapping end cut just right here. So there's a lot of support here. But if I was to pick these areas, I'd be looking at this as your low. So hopefully you won't get margined out if you're in a large margin trade. I'm not expecting, also one thing, because the volume is higher this second time around, there's a lot of fight that's still in this, as I mentioned in my letter here. I think there's a lot of fight. I don't think this is the only thing that's going to drop us down, because it's not on a single bar. It's just, here's the up bar here that closed near those areas, but look at the volume. It's actually lower than these. So if distribution is taking place, I actually don't think that's what's really happening. I think it's actually harmony. I think we're going up and the market's going up. If it moved into the weakness, then we're going to view that as distribution. But you got lots of months before that's going to be the case. I actually think this is really harmony, and therefore what we're going to be just seeing is just slowing down and then coming back into these areas. And then we're going to want to see the volume even higher as we challenge through, because that would definitely solidify the challenge area as being an increase, and that means there's a lot of demand, a lot of trading, a lot of people willing to take the trade in this direction. So that's where I want to see. I want to see a good push. But either way, we need to be there again. Let us bounce down. Let us come back up. Get out of this slug. And if it's going to fight against the resistance of the market as a whole. Okay. The next question, and that was a good comment, Armin said. He said, Prophet Robin Cunningham said it was supposed to be a stable coin or something like a stable coin, and you've done well parking your money there. Good. iPads. Yeah. Good. Look, around October when everything was crashing, this one's going up and we're still on some supports. So that's not so bad. Can you explain the long candle with the peak? You were talking about this candle right here, right? iPad? Is that your question about this peak candle right here? Yeah, okay. My thoughts about this candle, you would definitely always want to check, is this selling? It's a professional selling, because it's going to happen on an up move, uptrend. But we don't have the high volume that would generally indicate that's the case. At least not into the weakness yet, and we won't know till a few more months to read it in context. It's very possible this is a test in a rising market, and it would look similar to like this candle here. We come up, we come down, but it's not really selling, is it? Because we only come down back to about the candle itself, and then the up move resumes with some higher highs. So in context, I think both these two are going to be a test in a rising market. They're testing, is the market? Is there people willing to trade at these areas? And you generally want to compare them to areas in the past, if you have. Now we have, and the volume's higher. So I'm going to be looking for myself, saying that this is probably going to be a test in hindsight. We want to, you know what? This is another something. If it is a test in hindsight, we're okay with a lower volume this month. Yeah, we're actually okay with that. I'll hide my lens so you can see what I'm talking about. I just thought about that. Good. If this is a test in a rising market like this, and I'll show you, I'll probably point out another example today later on, and their volume is higher. When we come down to the down move, you don't want high volume if you can get it. You don't want high volume because it will say lack of interest. The other option you want is you want high volume on the down bar, but you want to move back into health. That means buying. Those are the two scenarios, really high and really low. Because you're telling the market, hey, I don't want this. Let me see if I can have an example of lack of interest. Here's an example of lack of interest. On this day, you can see the market came up real high and then came all the way down to close. Okay, but the down move that was here was on the falling volume. So you can see that they didn't want this, the down move. And the up move resumes here with a move into health. This is an example of price rising and the down moves on lack of interest. After the health comes in, that's generally what you want. It's basically like a crossover into the promised land. Once you cross over, you can rest. okay, you can rest. This would actually be a very good sign. The other sign is that if price comes back down to what is called a good deal, right, you want more money coming in. In those cases, you want volume to rise. But those are the two scenarios. Now, if I'm looking at this in context, we have this strong down move. Now, I should have thought about this earlier, but I didn't. We got this strong wick that comes all the way down, but it's on the up bar where selling would happen. And the volume's not high. I'm like, but we can also see that last month's candle's already closed and the volume is also not high. It's actually even lower. So what is that? It's very possible that this is just simply lack of interest. They're still not interested in fully bringing it down. Now, if they bring it down again another time after the lack of interest happened, that would be good for high volume. But now that I'm remembering, those are the two scenarios you'll want. I'm remembering this one in context based on where it's at. I would say that this is actually probably a good sign that the up move should still resume later on. Now, you may be months out, okay, based on what I already showed you the foundational move is. But this is not that end of the world because this candle is already solidified. So I'm going to be actually looking at that probably optimistically. Okay, it'd be probably like this one right here. If I find some more examples today, I'll let you guys know where those are at. Okay, I'll point one out, but I'll leave this image so you guys can see. Okay, I'm almost out of time for this crypto. Can you take USDT with volume? Will it fall once again at 6.7? Do you think? I'll take a look at it at the end of this session. Okay, but right now let's finish what we got here. The next one is ZS. It's a stock. Zscaler. We've done this one before. Let's take a look what we got. See, this one we go up, but they took their foot off the gas. Look at the volume. This is going to be what is the category of lack of interest. They're not interested in the up move at that time, and price falls into the weakness. It doesn't mean that there's a lot of energy to come down. It just means that they took their foot off the gas, so there's just not energy to go up. Okay, we need to read it in context. So putting back my lines on, it looks like we've drawn a map that looks like this. Some of the last stuff we were looking for this stock, we were looking at this to be a support, and it's now looking like a resistance. So now that we have a map, we can actually read a lot of these moves in context. This is actually a negative close for this. The two types of volume that would be bad for this crypto and telling us, this stock, telling us we're probably going to go down is number one, high volume on the up bar after the fact. Now we already got the close that we needed for the weakness. It's here. So this is a great little moment. We already got that close. So if on this bar, we now see very high volume, that would tell us that they're dumping, they're selling, if I saw that. If I see very low volume, those are the other two scenarios, that means they're not interested in this up move. That means the down move is still in power. Those are the two volumes we're going to be looking at for this context. High volume or low, very low volume. So we're going to be looking for high, especially ultra high if you got it on this area. Maybe not ultra high, but very high volume. Okay. And then low, very low volume, meaning the lack of interest. They're not interested. If I see low volume, I like to have high volume as we cross over. So those generally as a pair. Okay, that means I want to see high volume on that bar. That means they pushed it into weakness on purpose. And then I want to see them not interested on that side. If I see high volume on this bar, I generally don't want them to have pushed it really high. Okay, I just want them to, it faded into weakness and they're like, okay, now I got to get out. I got to get out. And then you'll see a low and high. So I'm going to pair those a bit together. They seem to be a very effective way of reading, and especially according to my remembrance of Tom William and Gavin Holmes, what they used to teach in their courses years ago. Okay, so let's read this live and take a look at what we got. We may, oh, and by the way, we are 24 days out. So if we already see the makings of it, that's the best. We will also try to see some on a smaller weekly time frame. Okay, so we got the high volume into the weakness. We got the close where we want to. This means we're looking at the bearish push. Okay. By the way, we saw professional selling as confirmed by the weakness here. high volume on the up bar, up move, but into weakness. So we knew that the professionals were dumping, and the next sign that they're dumping or getting out is going to be the bearish push, which is going to be on this bar right there. So this is, we're going to label this bearish pushing. Okay, this is them throwing money at this area on purpose. Okay, they're throwing it. We're crossed over on very high volume. So this is going to be most of what we need to know. Okay, so again, if we see the high volume on the first one, what is the one we're looking for on the second one? It's simple. We want lack of interest. Okay, we want the low volume. So we already got the high volume here. I shouldn't use that circle symbol. I should say high HV. Okay, and now on this one, we want low volume. Now already it's very low, so that's not so bad. 6 days in, and we're way down here. We generally want it somewhere lower than average. Okay, especially if it's going to be lower than the grouping average. You're going to have to eyeball it. Don't just trust your average line. Look for what's local regarding the move itself. Okay, so if this is the move or the last grouping, I want to see somewhere a trend maybe about right here. Probably going to be even the best scenario. But if you get, that's probably one of the best scenarios. That means they're not interested in the up move. Okay, they're not interested in this up move. Okay, I think that's what I want to share about this one. We talked about this one last time. If you want more of my comments on this one last time, you can type in that crypto ZS. They're all timestamped. Let's see, what else am I looking for here? What I'm going to be looking for, I'm going to be really paying attention to this flat, and that means I'm going to be looking for the stock to close to fall currently from 164 closer to $100. I would be looking for that right now. Give me just a few more moments. Yep, this is about where it should find that resistance right there. Yeah, there's an end cut there. This needs to be updated. This angle needs to be updated. Yep, still the same. And I'm also going to be paying attention to this area here. 125, 118 for this stock. Okay. All right, I'm going to be looking like that. All right, any other questions, my thoughts regarding this stock? This is what I got for you guys right now for this stock. Going once. Okay. Going twice. Let me just put a small report on this stock. ZS. This stock has professional selling in the background and currently lost an important support at, and the number was 164 average. This was done on high volume into that weakness and likely bearish pushing. The next thing I am looking for is the up move on lack of interest. That means price closing at 164 but on low volume. This may happen on the 2-week chart or monthly chart, and this is bearish for ZS. 2-week looks exactly the same. 1 week, the line comes, and it's still about the same area. Yeah, even a 1 week you can use, probably. Yeah, you got your high volume on the down move. It's not as clear on the 1 week. We'll see. You want to see the structures at least in the candles. You won't have the low volume though on the 1 week chart, but you will in its entirety, or you should have in its entirety, like on a 2-week chart. So I would use that. I would use the 2-week chart. You got 6 days left. Use the 2-week or 1 week and you're still going to get about the same average flat, maybe a little lower. All right, so that's what I'm still looking very much that. The next one, near. And after this, we'll do USDT.D, and then I'll end for our session. You guys can ask me other questions that you need. I may not give you an answer. All right. July 2024. January, September, July. Oh, that was a bottom, but not only for so many months. Okay, so we did some targets. Wow. These targets were very accurate. Okay, now what did we lose those targets? Yes, you did. And they turned into resistances, and one is acting like a resistance right now. This is all the way back from 2024. Nice. Near is at a bottom. However, I do not want to buy this at the moment. I would rather wait for the daily watch line to be broken. It is at good prices, but I don't fully trust this to be the bottom without more evidence. I'm not counting out near as a falling crypto at the moment. There's still a lot of hope for this one. Patience is needed. All right. So all that was back in July of 2024, somewhere right about here after the first weakness. We were supposed to have some kind of battle here, and there was a local health. Price rose back up, but look, did we clear the foundational line? No, we did not. That was the number at the time, 9.6. It was a dynamic negative number. Okay. Did we get back into health? No, we didn't. We did for the core, but not for the major story. Okay, and look at the monthly chart, and you can see that the foundational area is here, but those wicks line up and match. And so we need to give it a little bit of wiggle room or grace period. Okay, and I gave you two areas. So this was the first one for the core, somewhere about right here, but then the real one was right above here where these wicks seem to match. And this is why you guys are going to be a little bit more successful if you find these angles and they match. Now, let's use this principle in real life. Okay, we're going to use it today. But this is when you guys are seeing these healths that are right here, and you're thinking, oh yeah, it's there, it's in health. Just zoom out. Did you check everything? Okay, because here's what we can see. And then now we got even more confirmation. We should be looking at the top number. And that number, of course, it goes down over time. But that's what you should be looking at. So when we can clear this area, then we have more chance to go up, but not before. So pay attention to wick match. Okay, sometimes it's going to save your butt. Okay. All right, here's another one that we drew for you guys here, a wick match. And we drew this line, and it looks like the wicks need to just be a little hair higher, right, to where those wicks are. Move this out the way. See, that one and that one, it looks like I talked to you guys about that last time. What did it do if we stretch that out and line it back up? Is that lined up pretty good? A hair higher. Is that lined up? Yeah, look at that. And that's what is it gonna do? It's gonna save our butt. Okay, because that would tell us, hey, really, this isn't the breakout, it's more here above those. And that's gonna be the whole conundrum with wick match. They're gonna help you see that wiggle room where there's a false breakout and things like that. Okay, because you would think, oh yeah, look, it's in a false breakout. We still need to build above those areas. And we couldn't. We just came right back down into the meaty part. Something's wrong. We missed something. And what helps as the buffer zone? Wick match. Wick match is going to save you in a lot of situations. It's not the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, but it's going to be your next best friend. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Now, why can we use that? How can we use that to our advantage? We decided that this was the key angle. It's the same angle based on this. But if we bring this down, we can actually see that the wicks line up a little bit lower than where we had them. We had them just all the way pressed up to the core. But what if we try to stretch them out? And we can try to collect as many of these as possible. I think we need to adjust this angle ever so slightly. Maybe core, wick, wick. Okay, core, wick. And let's see if it still lines up on top, because it may very well. And guess what? It does. It lines up even better than this last area, which just misses the wick. They're still lined up pretty close. Look at that. It's pretty close, right? Wick, wick, and the bottom line's up. So we're going to adjust that line. Don't be afraid to re-examine your lines, especially as time goes on. You can say, oh yeah, this line this should be a hair down or a hair up and things like that. So we're going to use this as the larger oscillation. And this is exactly the same angle now. Okay, so one of them is going to be the key angle and one will be the phantom. And we'll just choose this one to be the phantom. So that's going to be our PA and our KA on top. Okay, now what we can do is we can glean a lot of information from this. So we already did our movement up here to see where those targets. And right now, all of these ones are basically played out like an old song and that we don't need anymore. And we can see now what's been happening. So what's been happening is price has been rejecting on the underside of this target. And that was really critical. You can see us building on the underside of that target. That was bullish or bearish? Building on the underside. Why do I point this out to you? Why do I point this out to you? Just take a moment. Why am I here? Just to give you a fish? Why do I point this out to you? Can anybody just tell me real quick why I do that? It's happening again. Could be happening again. It's not to reinforce the learning, says iPad. And that's right, to reinforce the learning, because here's the thing. Superfood said a very profound comment yesterday. Superfood, do you mind if I put you on blast a little bit? I'll be gentle. Superfood said something very profound yesterday. He said, okay, thank you, Superfood. Thank you. He said, whoa, I never really look in XLM like this. Like, you made it simple for me. And what I did was I just took XLM to a monthly chart. And he was like, because mine doesn't look anything like this, but it's the same data. What I did was I just simplified it to a few basic concepts, a few basic shapes, the overall story. And it didn't look so complicated. And we were in the uncut class, and I did about 10 cuts, 10 random charts. I wanted to do a lot more, but we ran out of time. And it was awesome, because that comment was his learning, saying, whoa, I'm seeing things I never saw before by zooming out. If you look at the structure, how much time did we have to prepare for something like this? Okay, somebody just tell me. Here's the image. How much time did we have to prepare for this? Can anybody tell me? A year. That's right, a year. Here is the date of that first weakness. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and then we come down. We had a year to prepare for this. The market seemed to affect our friends, our loved ones, family members, the internet gurus online. It seems to affect them like overnight. But a lot of times, if we just know where to look, most of the stuff for us happens in slow motion. There's a year. This is March. And this is like November right here. This is March of 2025. And this is November 2025. We have time to not just examine this structure, but lots of structure. What was happening in the market, the crypto market as a whole in October? What was happening in October? Remember? The crash. A lot of the health was leaving the markets. Big signs of the crash. Jason was posting the videos. Whether you agreed with me or not, you had time to examine the data and see that something's not right by the structures as a whole. Market was going in a wrong direction. We could probably break this down in further videos and draw something like that. I bet we could. Okay. And we'll do that in just a second real quick. But we have time to respond. You know what I mean, guys? A lot of you guys have time to respond because the markets don't happen in slow motion. Everybody's, oh, is it up and down? It's up and down. I have no clue what's going on. And 1 month is up, you made the money, you didn't make the money. You made the money, you got stopped out. You made the money, you got lost. And you made the money. And this is what people are experiencing, but this is actually what's happening. There's a lot of time we're worried about a lot of things that God is just taking care of us for us. In life, we're looking at but that's why the Lord says, the birds of the air, they're not worried. I know the things you have need of, little children. Are you not worth more than sparrows? Let's draw kind of the meaty flat here. If there is a flat, it's going to be somewhere here in this range. Pull price back in front. If I was a betting man, I'm going to say wait to short. Although I would not buy it right now based on us building underneath this target. And that target was based on all of that happened way in the past. I'm going to say be careful. I will draw some support for you here real quick. I have a support here. And I have a support here. And it's one and the same, so we're going to just use one range. This is just one of the end cut supports, so I'm just going to put it on the block. I won't always draw all full end cut maps or anything like that. I don't. Not in this class. But I will give this to you here. 888661. These are going to be some areas we're going to be needing to break below for the next big weakness. Otherwise, price playing in this area is pretty normal. Okay. Price play in this area is pretty normal. If we get that final move, then I'm actually going to be looking at this. So at the very least, I would not want to buy this at the current time. I would not want to risk it as well. Okay. We need some kind of health if price is going to go up. The market's still not bullish. The cores are going to be here, but I'm going to use this wick match area because I think the wicks match in a lineup somewhere about right there. So let's make that about green, which means the next big healths are going to be coming down the track. And we'll bring them somewhere up there. Oh. Okay. So somewhere above these prices of 130, 160, we can start talking about going up again, but be careful because that flat was now built. Okay, so I would be looking like that. Let's look at the volume real quickly. If we have high volume underneath these areas, especially if we drain that volume towards times going on, that's going to be very bad. We can also go up on lack of interest. And here we go. We got the high volume. So it's the high volume one. See the high volume right here? Right on the spread, but the closes are going where? They're going nowhere. First, we started on lack of interest, and then we start going high, but where does the price go? It goes nowhere. And then we continue going in that area until there's no more volume left. So that's that high volume. We challenge again, but now the volume's really low in the month of October. We get the close there. One more challenge to the high volume, but again, closing into the weakness. It's telling us everything we need to know. The jumping ship. Professionals are like, okay, I'm out, and they're absolutely trading here. Underneath that structure. That's what they're doing. They're jumping ship. Okay. I'm going to be looking at 88 to 661. It's probably a more viable bottom. And then after that, 40 cents. Oh, let me look at the volume right now. We do have a high volume right now on this end cut support. I'm going to be looking for a fight here. Let's see if we can go to that 1 weekly chart. And I said I was going to cut this line to see if we can. I don't know if I can cut it on a weekly. Maybe a 2 week. Nope. Not really. It's not really pretty to cut. Too volatile. Yeah, there it is. 3 day. All the way there. On a 3 day chart, you could cut this if you wanted to. 2 places. The flat and... I should put hair lower. The flat and underneath here. It's not really pretty. It's still messy and commingling with this area. But this is not a good place to group in. And neither is this. Okay, signs of that first weakness, we're probably getting that close there. That price is probably going to crack this line. We come up one more time, and that's it. So this would have been danger for us. A warning, don't buy this leg right there. That one, don't buy that. All right. Yep, I like it. Okay. One of the ways we can trade this right now, if we got to be careful, let's look at the volume. The current high volume is on the up bar. The foundational line is flat, so you cannot generally cut this easy. Okay, maybe it's up, but it looks maybe flat and up. So probably group as a flat. Watch that one. Price is probably going to play here, and then That's all you got. High volume on the up bar, what closes into that weakness is almost everything you know they're selling. But you need to confirm that by a move into weakness. So the two weaknesses are going to be here and there. That's where your two weaknesses are. Oops. Okay. All right. So that's just a quick 3-day look at this stock on Bitfinex near. Okay. Let's move on. Final questions here. Superfoot says, probably why it was easier on my eyes monthly, less noise versus daily, weekly. More noise, yeah, a lot of noise. All right, let's go to copper. Now, copper has a skew of XCN, so we can type in either copper or you can type in XCN. Now, it looks like I have maybe two charts on here. Let's see what we got. Copper future FXCN. No map on here, but that's about how it should look. And then we got another one on capital.com. It looks like this is probably where our map is at. Good. So we've done a map on this. Let's see what I wrote down about copper. Copper is at a top, but closing above. Volume indicates that the breakout to the upside is likely. This is in December of 2025. This is an alignment. This is an alignment. We also do not have large weaknesses in copper. Therefore, I expect copper to continue moving higher. Look for this candle on the monthly chart to finally close above 5.39 area. So let's go to a monthly chart. 5.39 areas where we want a monthly close. And that's this one right there. So we wanted to close right above there. Did we get it? Yeah, we did. We got it in the month of December. Okay, so at the end of December, right about there. Let's just say December 29th. That shouldn't be the right date, because we already got the close there, so that date might have been wrong. Every now and then I get the date wrong. Anyway, at the end of December, we got that one, both that much and the next month. I therefore expect copper to continue moving higher. Weakness is below 435. That's going to be down here in the downtrend at the moment. I also see room for manipulation to $7.13, which is going to be at $7.13. And that's somewhere about right up there in the sky, right there. Okay, that's the wiggle room that we have based on this area down here. The noise tacks onto the top, so we can see some wiggle room up there if possible. This is because the downside concentrating price oscillating in a cone shape inward has the manipulation on the downside on the bottom. I just showed you on the screen. As a rule of thumb, this must always be measured and tacked onto the top. Update January 28, 2026. As expected, copper moved into held with the breakout. Revenue 713. I should say remember, copper 713 copper may be a resistance and a fake out, but I suspect it is genuine based on the volume data. Nevertheless, the price may reject and pull back around 713. If so, I see buyers or large players entering if the move is into health. So that's going to be about the big update for copper. This just needs to say remember. And it should say December. Okay. All right. We have been here in the past, but no closes. December 29. Okay. See gesture map, March 19th, 2025. Okay, we don't need to see all that right now. So we got that close. And I'm going to put this close complete. Update March 7th, 2026. All right. Okay, so let's take a look. We got high volume. Do we got it? Yes, we do. We got high volume after the close, and it's going to be about right here. But the next bar is still up on an up move right there, even closing above high. Now, this is a monthly chart. Manipulation of precious metals are highly done, so you need a lot of wiggle room if you're going to trade successfully precious metals, especially if you're using the future market. You can get margined out, stopped out. Why? Because of all the manipulation that happens in the money, in the precious metals. Some people are reporting a lot of that happening in the silvers right now, the silver market, but it's been going on for several years. Okay, so let's clean up this chart a bit and maintain what we need. All right, let's go to I'm going to go to a 3-month chart. and simplify these candles and see if there's any shapes. Man, even on a 3-month chart, look at all the candles. They're weird. Extend these out. Yep, I'm still going to be expecting all of this to be a bit of a manipulation zone. A lot of it. Okay, iPad's drawing. Probably look at the wick match. You're probably right, iPad. Draw this a little bit higher. Or maybe even adjust it. Yeah. Still going to get me the same area for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to be looking up there. Let's stretch these out a bit just to make it a little bit cleaner. So my money is going to be on... I wouldn't be looking for it to do anything fantastic now, probably for a few months, maybe even half a year. But my money's on $5.57. Get me building above there, that's a good thing. I'm looking at 761 average. I'm going to have my eye on that number right now. Okay. Well, this is in beta, but I'm going to be looking at this number up in the sky right now, 761 average. Okay. All right, that's all I got for you guys here. I'm going to be actually looking for this to be a bit bullish for me. And this one's already playing out, so the next one I'm going to be looking here. Okay. Any questions, thoughts? My thoughts on copper. Might be actually a good area, a good price to buy. I'm interested in these prices, the same as silver. It's almost the same. I'm looking at silver at these prices here. It's a good price. Anywhere past 69. Sorry. Where's it at? Anywhere in these prices, as I gave you guys, 69, 79. We've been playing here. I think this is actually a large health that's actually occurring. I think silver's going to have another strong movement. But we're building above these areas right here. And that's exactly what's supposed to happen, I believe. We're still well within the support, so we still have some good room to do it. Remember, there's going to be a lot of manipulation, so this is going to be harder to read in volume. But it's a good place to build upon. So price building on these areas, exactly good prices for silver. You can see the first time we came back, we already pulled back to that area. I think this is what we're looking for us. And we already got another close above an end cut here. And price right now, currently, we got 6 days left. I wouldn't be surprised if we stop and build right above 87, 88. And that would be a good, another launching point for silver. So both silver and copper looking great, in my opinion. It is not iPad. It's an experimental. The ones that are in red with a white border, if they're red, it's an end cut DP. And it's in beta testing right now. It's a projection-based end cut model. Okay, I haven't taught it. When I release it, the price of the course will go up. But I've been practicing with it, and it looks awesome. But I need more testing for it, so I haven't released it yet. But everywhere I've looked for it, it's been valuable. You do need the standard key angle oscillations, just like standard end cut. But once you can draw it, it is cool. And I think it may actually solve my flat problem too, because end cuts don't really work on flats because they just highlight the flat. But it does solve a very important issue for me, and I can't wait to experiment with that. I need more time. I'm working on it, and then I'll release that at the right time. It's awesome. Okay, last one for today. Any other questions, silver? Or I'm sorry, copper. My thoughts, copper. Okay, let's go to ANKR, the last one for today, and then I'll look at USDT. D for you guys. Sometimes I look at it in the beginning, sometimes I look at it at the end. Where's my ANKR chart? Where is my ANKR chart? Oh, there it is. Coinbase. Okay, let's see where we're at. All right, ANKR. This crypto hit a lower DP shown September 30th. Chart in green, so that was this line right here. And then what happened? We moved into that weakness, so it let us know we were weak. And that was a big loss for this crypto, 70078. After that, we're actually looking to come down to its next territory here at 0046. Looks like we hit there. That short is going to be basically over. This is negative. Very possible to hit the next lower support that is near 0.00469. This will be easily hit if USDT.D breaks above 6.628 area. It did, right? If so,
and it's on its way towards the 9s, then ANKR may find itself towards 00166 area. These bottoms support my strong suspicion. So my next big support for ANKR, this happened already, and I can just put almost previous ANKR, is going to be looking down here. All right. So let's talk about why that might be. Let's talk about why this may be and see if it's still valid. Yeah. This is going to be even more stronger. So is this a flat? Why do I have this blue line there at that number? Oh, I know. DP flat slash in DP, which is new. Okay. And it's beta. It's all in the same area right there. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely looking here, guys. Maybe we need to raise it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at the volume in just a moment. But let me put the flat on. And I don't know if it's multi-touch flat. Yeah, it should be a little bit multi-touch flat, but I'll just put flat. And we're going to put this on the bottom right. 0.001390011. This might be an actually very interesting short that I might like to take. I love to short. ANKR in September, I'm not bullish ANKR at the moment, blah, blah, blah. No major buying. Let's take a look if we see some buying coming in. I only see high volume on the up bar with the close near the low on a move that had a very high up move and close near the low, and now we're even below there. I don't think this is actually buying. It's the wrong type of candle for it to actually be buying. Let's go to a 1 week chart. Yep, it's the same. I think this is a shakeout bar right there. That's what I really think this is. And that's a shakeout's often a continuation trend. Possible shakeout. Bearish continuation. Okay, on that bar. So I think that's what this actually is right here. Let's take a look now at the volume a little bit more closely. And one of the things that we can see, let's draw a little bit more. So not only do I not have any health for quite a bit, which means we can borrow this next health and put that somewhere around there. That one's already done. That one's already done. And these ones we can just take off right now, the board. Okay. We can use this for the next weakness. Wow. Yep. That was even more important, wasn't it? Yep. Yep. No matter how I slice it or dice it, there's a lot of support at this area. I'm going to be looking here. I want to be looking there. I'm going to be looking to get out of that area. Put that in the center. Okay. Now I'm going to double check my angle on top in white. Let's check this angle because I think I can go up a bit and try to capture all of these in alignment. And if I do, starting with this last one, you can see on the weekly chart, we got a core here, and then I got a wick here, and then I got a core there, and then I got a few wicks here. Okay, so I'm going to trust that angle, and then that's going to cause me to delete this current one. So we just went up a hair, and I'm going to duplicate this and bring it here, and that's going to make a lot more sense in the volume. Okay, this is how I'm going to draw it. So this is going to make a lot more sense of what's happening right now. So instead of actually acting like a support, there's actually some resistance here, and maybe both of them will overlap, and you can keep both if you want to, but I am going to count for the weekly chart one. So I'm going to label this as 1 week phantom. Okay, so generally that's how you want to do it. Now you can double check your numbers on the high side like a monthly chart, and the monthly chart is going to give us a little bit of that support. So if I wanted to duplicate the line and give myself one, then I need to label it as such. Let's see, core. Let's see if I can capture all the cores for the monthly. It's going to give me a muted line like this. I'm sorry, a more accelerated line. And I can give that one blue, and then I can label that one if I wanted to right here. And this is where they're going to play out. So this is how you could add bold if you wanted to. So if I wanted to, I could say monthly dot phantom. So I got a monthly phantom, and I have a weekly 1 week phantom. So which one's stronger? Obviously, the monthly is going to be stronger, and that's why we're going to have some support. But you can see what's responding even to the weekly chart, and that's going to, again, it's going to make a lot of sense on why the battle is playing out here in this area. So the next weakness for next month is somewhere around 00412. So this is going to be important for this chart. Okay, and this is how you could overlap both of these lines if you wanted to. All right. Obviously, always the higher time frames are strong. ANKR, March 7th, 2026. ANKR. This crypto hit its lower support as predicted. Today, the angles have been split by monthly and weekly charts. 1 week charts. Price support was on monthly. However, the candle this month, this week, is rejecting under the support for the weekly chart. There is a battle here. The high volume on the up bar under and into that resistance is bearish. You do not want to see high volume on the underside of that. High volume on the down bar. Remember I showed you that in the last cryptos where we're just building underneath that area. It's a similar kind of concept, although this one's at an angle, the last one was at a flat. You don't want to see high volume underneath the supports. The confirmation of the weakness is still 0.00412 on the monthly and perhaps 2 and 1 week charts. The old target, not a new, the old target below these still applies. Although it has been overlapped with an experimental beta and type of NCUT called NDP. And therefore, the price is reinforced. Okay, for showing supports and showing supports at 0.00189.0015. This means if I take a short under 0.004, I am looking to fall towards 0.00189 conservatively. Okay. Now, I did about 5 DPs on this chart. And 4 of those DPs were the NCUT NDP, which I haven't launched, but I'm just letting you guys know. It's there. I will show you the DP that we have. It's currently this one. It's going to be here to here. We take that distance from this area, from this oscillation. We take the distance here, guys. Look, that distance, and we project it down to the bottom side, and it's going to get me somewhere about right here. Okay, you guys understand that? But there's a different type of DP, which I haven't taught, and it also is going to be there. Okay, somewhere in that area, they're overlapping. So I just put them all together using the NCut DP marker, which is a red with white border. And you guys will see that after it launches. Okay, and that's available for those who purchase this class. The deep, not this class, the workshop. And then again, as I said, the price is going to raise because I'm going to be giving you guys all my secrets for this. And probably the only thing cooler than end cuts are NDPs. All right, that's all I got for today. Do we have any other questions about this? So it's probably going to be this that's going to be hit. If the flat gets hit, it may be a hit later on. My first stop is there. I would like to take a short there. The money that's on the table, let's see, conservatively, the money that's on the table to the average is closer to 100%. So that is awesome. I hope I can make 100% on the trades. I'm going to be looking at this trade very closely. One of the things I'll probably do is set an alarm for myself somewhere about right here. I'm just going to set an alarm and remind me to take a short position if the markets continue a little bit bearish. I do have USDT.D, but do I have any other questions for you guys, for me, on this chart? So I'm just drawing a little bit of a line here, and then I'm going to click on the line, and then I'm going to click on my alarm clock button in the middle right there. I'm going to click on it and give myself a message. Look to short ANKR, ANKR, possibly under this area. Okay, so I'm setting a little bit of alarm for myself there. You guys can do what you want, but that's how I'm going to do it. I need more tissues, don't I? I don't got any more. No other questions? Going once, going twice. Okay, all right, USDT.D. I'll be back tomorrow for WordRoom at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for your patience. We did not have WordRoom last week. I went to a wedding and we went traveling. Wish you a speedy recovery. Thank you very much. Man, guys, it was bad. I have some great medicine I want to take, but I haven't even made it. I still not feel good that I didn't even make my own medicine. I have a great medicine. But I have been working heavily on the other side of it. There's two sides of this medicine I've been working on. I made it weeks ago. I took one drop and it was amazing. I didn't got to take another one though. I was supposed to make a bunch of them. And I didn't tell you guys I threw out my back last week. Right before the wedding. I was like, ah! So they're having a dance. And I'm dancing like this. And only like that. It was weird. I was feeling good and I just laid down and I was like, ah! I slept wrong or whatever I did wrong. And then I had to figure out how to get it back into place. But I did. But it's still sore. For the most part, I got it back into place. But I didn't tell you guys, but I was a bit bedridden for a while. I'm like, Melody, help me get out. That's the second time I threw out my back in the last decade. It was bad. Happens to the best of us. But make sure you guys learn how to crack your back and stay fit. Okay, USDT.D, we are in this section here. That was our old important end cut for us. That's approximately in this area. We hit it 3 times, and then we finally hit this support. So what's that support here? What is that support? It's the foundational line. It can come down to here. Let's pull it and make sure we're looking on the weekly chart, I think. Oh, it's acceleration. Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, we got our foundational key angle here, so we still got plenty of room in this uptrend. This was our resistance. Price has not been breaking that resistance, and that's a bit concerning, right, for the bulls. Okay, if we lose this, for the bears, because when this chart goes up, your cryptos come down. If we face into this area, okay, I'll take a screenshot so you guys can see it. The most important things. This is a very big support for this crypto. So this is my thoughts and outlook on USDT.D. Okay, make it bigger. This is where the support is basically, and the resistance here. So price is oscillating within this area. Okay, so this is basically what we're currently playing, and that's something you guys need to be aware of. If we are phasing through this area that means that we're going to probably come back down to these areas. Now, none of that's on the table right now, and that would be actually bullish, a bullish thing for the crypto markets when this comes down. When this goes up. If, however, we phase into the health, which we're very dangerously close to doing, if we do that and we continue coming up into these areas, that would be actually a very bearish thing for the markets. It would be actually very bearish. Okay. We'd be looking for this to be a very bad thing for the market. And those are the two things that are going to happen. And I've showed you where that battle is for quite a many months. You guys had that. This is one of our DPs. This is going to be a DP that we have based on larger oscillations. Okay, it's just right there. My thoughts are we're still, as I told you guys before, I believe we're gravitating towards this area. Okay, now, apart from that, there's a few local supports that lend itself and lend its strength. Lend me your strength. This is that. Okay, right here. So on a 3-day chart, let's see if we can adjust this. It comes down here. It's from down here. This is a local accelerated adjustment line. And this means that we started accelerating even faster. So we need to count for that foundation. And it's right there. If you stretch it out. Oh, wow. Stretch it out really good. There it is. Okay, just like you need to stretch out your back. Okay, we need to stretch out here. Okay, about here. So now there's two things we want in the volume. Okay, we don't mind high volume on a down bar, but a move into health is what we need for confirmation. If you see high volume on a down bar with a move into health as a confirmation, that's a sign that professionals bought. They were buying. You need it in context, so we don't have that yet because we're still within the range of the local acceleration, which is here. The next end cut that should provide support for us in this area is somewhere about right here, based on my calculation. It looks like based on my previous calculation. So there's one approximately here in this area at 735. 7.35 average. So if we lose this support, we're probably going to find a move down to 735. Okay, into this weakness. That would be bullish for the market. When this goes up, your cryptos are going down. Okay. Now I'm going to remove this that says important end cut support because there's just too much text on the board. And we're going to remove this one that says hit. We don't need that. Okay. And just so you guys can get the raw answers that you're looking for. The raw answer is that we really need a close above 820. Okay, 820. Now, some of the other things we're looking at about this oscillation is we need to see also we probably want to push through on strong volume. So I want strong volume as we cross over. Such a battle. Let's show that they're throwing money at it. That'd be great to see it. But high volume on this down bar is going to be absolutely acceptable. Another thing we can see that would be absolutely acceptable is since the move has a lower low than this area, we can actually view that as a downward movement. And we can say that we want low volume or a decreasing volume compared to the up move itself, which was going to be this move. Okay. In other words, if I were to take these two areas, I want to view those. Now, I don't know what we're going to find. We're going to look at it live, but I'm letting you guys know what I'm looking for before I see it. Okay. If this move is the up move, I want this to be rising in volume. And if this move is the down move, I want this generally to be falling in volume. Okay, I want this generally to be falling in volume. And then the up move will resume, and we actually may resume the same distance, a same or equal distance, which is somewhere in the sky, closer to 10s, 13, 14s. And it's high, and that would be a very bad crypto market crash. I've already examined a lot when we first fell into this area, and we came to this resistance, exactly where the resistance should be, the circle cluster. Are we going to lose? Let's take a look at the volume now, see what clues it might offer. Okay, so we can see a few things. Can we glean what might be happening here? I'll pull out a 2-day chart just to simplify things a little bit. The volume as we were first in our first bout, was doing what? What was it doing? Rising. That's right. We were rising. Okay, good. What about now? What's the volume doing now? Now that we've come down to, now that we're coming down, supposedly. Basically flatline or lack of interest compared to this area. Not necessarily declining steadily, but lack of interest. And that could mean that they're not interested in getting out. Okay. And that this is just the supply that needs to be absorbed, accumulated. Now we see this last 2 days. In this last 2 days as a down move, we come right back up, and the down move is on which type of volume? Above average. And that's quite interesting because it's on the down bar. So the next thing we're going to look for is this, therefore. We need the break. If you get here, you know almost everything that's happening for this crypto. You're going up. If you get there with high volume in the background, in context. If you don't get that, this could be another challenge, and don't be afraid if we continue to look for breakdowns. What you can do as a strategy is to simply draw your flats where you see them and look for that as your confirmation you're still going down. So let's put this all in context. So right now, this flat might be a very viable place for us to look, but also here would be the next place to look. So the battle, therefore, is just this simple. Price is wiggling into this weakness, which happened. Okay, but it doesn't mean we're going down. It could be the calm or the lull before the storm or the dip. And if this is the dip, which I don't like that terminology from non-technical people, but if it is, you're going down. Some of the signs that there's distribution happening is going to be high volume along all of that, but we saw a decrease in volume. Okay, we would see a high volume into those weaknesses, the larger weaknesses, the foundations, not just that little local move. So now I'll put them all back on. So you can see the up move is still in play, and we don't have a distribution phase. We just have resistance where it should. So what is that? What about that DP? What is that DP, Jason? I'm so glad you asked. What is that DP? Where's it at? It should be on the higher time frames. Ah, there it is. Okay. This DP, if you guys haven't been tracking, is this larger oscillation between here, and it's going to be here. See the tops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 tops. That is basically between here and here. And we take that distance and we project them out into the sky along the same track, and they give us this resistance. So that's where the market slowed down, right? So the markets were crashing, and this basically saved us. Or did it? All this really did, in my opinion, is giving us this temporary low. Now let's get very accurate about this, because some of that should save us may not be saving us a little bit more. So let's go a little bit more accurate. Let's line these up a little bit higher. Is it possible that the support is so strong that we're going to continue going up, especially if it's on higher volume on the down move? Yes. If it's on a high down move, it may be more buying before the storm. This is a weekly chart. I want you guys to be very careful about buying cryptos when this crosses over. Okay, I also want you to already let you guys know that we do have to be more careful about shorting once we were here. I had a sign I just deleted a few moments that said exit shorts right at that area. Although I do take some shorts from time to time, not heavy shorts. You can't take heavy shorts. You got to be real careful right at that resistance. This is the resistance I had for you guys months and months ago. The circle cluster, from when I did my circle cluster class. There's a lesson in it on our lessons page if you guys want more and you guys are a dive tier member. Okay, so this is where the health needs to be. So I'm just going to let you guys know. Now, when we're above there, I'm going to be looking at the flat. I'm telling you now, I'm looking at the flat. This wick match flat. That's what I'm looking at. I'm going to be looking to get up to 9. The number is 942, and then I'm going to stop shorting for a bit, and I'm going to let the game play out again. So we're probably going to see a large dip if we can get up to 9.4. Current price is 8.01%, so we're just right at 8. Again, if we continue this current heading and we just phase, we're going to phase into the health. But we may lose a local weakness. So there's a battle, and the vortex is at March 16th. That's just next week. So watch for what happens. If this week we get a close on Sunday and price comes back up above the 8.20 and we close at 8.3, 8.4, that's a big close. Tomorrow night, 1 day, 8 hours left. That's going to be an important close for this area. I think these are all shakeout bars. You got the wicks on both sides, shakeout. With the close here, I don't think it's selling. I don't think it's distribution. I really don't. I don't think that's the volume for distribution, especially in something like this. I think this is a continuation. Okay, I think this is the shakeout bar, and I think we're still going up, as I let you guys know. Which means you guys got to be very careful, because when this comes down, it's going to fake you all out to buy. Oh, it's time to buy. I don't think so, in my opinion. Okay, it's never a financial investment or trading device of any kind. Everything is for entertainment, educational, and comedic purposes only. I ate red crayons for breakfast in the morning. Trading the markets carries substantial risk. Never trade more than you can afford to lose, and especially be aware against high leverage trading. Past performance is never indicative of future performance. Okay, do I have any other questions about USDT.D? My opinions, my thoughts. I think what's happening. 8.20. Okay, these are the two scenarios that's going to play out. Okay, this is where I want to stop shorting. That's why I have an X here, and then I'm going to resume again after we build above these areas. So that's how I will trade those two. So I'll short here. If we get a build above, I'll probably look for a support, and then I'll enter again, but I'm just going to exit my shorts when this happens. Like a map, whatever crypto I'm doing, I'm probably just going to get out if I'm shorting that. Okay, good range to do so. Safer. Finally, I think I said one last thing. 8.1378 12 7 12.84 is another one. It's going to be good. Yeah, man, wow. Yeah, I'm going to be looking up there. Can start deleting this. We don't need all these yellow tutorial stuff. I can't wait to show you guys some of the new stuff we're working on. All right. How does the war affect USDT.D and crypto? T-Pause question. How does war affect USDT.D and crypto? I won't speculate too much. I can only speculate because I'm not an expert in those categories right now. But my strong suspicion is that generally in war, two things happen. The economy gets specialized, very specialized. But in the past, primarily this was due to propaganda. For example, in World War II, when war broke out, people primarily started banding together. We saw strong factory input, and people became very focused in the economy. Certain economies suffered, such as the movie industry and certain spending, but others went up because everybody felt like it was their civic or moral duty. Some of this may have a lot to do with the Disney propaganda. There was a lot of war commissions contracts that were bought up by the animation studios, primarily Walt Disney. And they were basically telling everybody to do their part. People were recycling tires. We didn't even need tires. People were recycling this. People were doing this. People were buying this. They were basically all falling in line. So you probably want to view what may increase in terms of what is being pumped out by a similar effect, and that's what Trump is going to be tweeting out. So Trump may be tweeting out like, hey, we need this and that, and people get serious when we're in war. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a very focused thing. What that looks like in modern days, again, may have to do with tweets or the general consensus. Since the creation of the internet, people are more lax about that kind of stuff because not everybody's on board as they were with direct propaganda. Remember, back in the day, we only had one television. We didn't have screens. We only had one news media, even though they were all being controlled or mitigated from the same locations or the same central locations. And it was basically the same news that was being told to us. Whether true or not, it was It was one focus. So America was more in line. Today we have our news sources from more areas. We don't always trust the mainstream media. And so we get this longer, broader spectrum. So we're not as focused, and it may take a longer time to get on board. With Trump's current strategies with war, everything's very like blitzkrieg almost. Get really quick, go in, go out, do it, and then tell everybody about it later. And so I'm going to say that we're not going to have a lot of time for the war to really affect the markets in the same way we would think. There is a prophetic information about when you see the yellow smoke coming out of one country. They hit an underground bunker and they're going to blame it on the U.S. And that might be a big thing because that's supposed to prophetically trigger a stock market crash. And then prophetically, the crypto market's supposed to go fall somewhere after that, which is probably like a week or so later. So if you see that yellow smoke, due it to a bomb. Currently, we're bombing a lot of places right now. So I'm going to say that it may fall in those areas where that may trigger that. So apart from prophetic, that's where I'm going to stay. And that's my analysis of what I believe is happening. Others may give you a much different answer. Okay. Other questions for me? All right, me, USDT.D, anything? Okay. We'll end our recording. All right, God bless you.